Hi, I'm Judy Woodruff. I salute the work of the Caregiver Action Network, especially at this time, when we observe National Family Caregivers Month.
It's an honor to thank the more than 40 million Americans who provide loving care to family members.
Every day, caregivers in Wisconsin and across the country tend to the needs of our loved ones.
To the millions and millions of caregivers out there, the pandemic has been very difficult to cope with. I have a caregiver, I have 3 caregivers, and they take excellent care of me.
Well, I want to thank all the family caregivers across the country. This has been a tough year with this pandemic, this COVID-19 virus. It's taken so many of our fellow countrymen's lives, made so many more sick. The frontline workers are working so hard. But I want to single out tonight the family caregivers, because without them, the problems would even be that much worse.
To all my fellow caregivers out there, I've been there. I know what you're going through. My daughter was in a plane crash 13 years ago, and I took care of her for 12 out of those 13 years, and I know what it means to be a caregiver.
Hi, I'm Susan, and I take care of my mom, Pat. She has suffered with osteoporosis for years now, and since she's had a break in her first vertebrae, and now she's broken a total of 10 with 3 surgeries, I've been on point with her for some time.
Hi, my name is Kevin, and I have been taking care of my wife, who has had Parkinson's for about 15 years now.
Hi, my name is Candy, and I care for 2 parents, my mother and my father. My father's 95, my mother is 92. My father has issues with mobility due to neuropathy, and my mother has some remembering issues.
Hi, my name is Alicia Henry. My grandmother lives with schizophrenia, and she also has suffered from 2 strokes. My mother is her primary caregiver, but I also assist with her care.
Hi, my name is Sabrina. I care for my maternal grandmother, who is 95 years old. She has advanced dementia, and she lives independently on her own in New York City, and I'm her primary caregiver.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I am a previous and current caregiver. I was a previous caregiver to both of my parents starting in 2004 to 2012, and then became a legal guardian for my 88-year-old cousin, who is currently in a nursing home.
Hey, Mr. Sunshine. He's my little sunshine. Mihir's name means sun, and I bought this house specifically because we get tons of sunlight in the mornings. What are you reading, Dad? Taking care of my son and taking care of my dad. It's just become part of my life because their needs are very similar.
Multiple challenges in caregiving. My greatest challenge is maintaining all of the records. It gets overwhelming between the medical records, the hospital records, the insurance records.
So I think one of the greatest challenges as a caregiver is making sure that you're also not only supporting the person that you're taking care of, but also self-care for yourself. So my mother is the primary caregiver for my grandmother, which is a 24-hour job, and she's responsible for making sure that she eats, that she's clean, getting her to appointments, making sure that she's happy, turning on the TV, the small things and the big things, which doesn't really leave much time for herself. And when I'm there, it's the same type of thing because it's 24 hours. So I think the biggest challenge is just making sure that as you're giving optimal care to the patient, that you're also caring for yourself.
The fact that I live 350 miles away, and I did with my parents and now with my cousin who's in a nursing home. And it's difficult because I have to quit my job or leave my career in order to be able to provide the best care for them.
Yeah, when you end up being a family caregiver, let's say something surprisingly happened. For instance, in my case, my mother had a stroke and you get that phone call. Then all of a sudden there are all these tasks and responsibilities that you have to address. And none of us is, born knowing how to do this stuff. So at Caregiver Action Network, we try to help people go through that and give them the resources they need to meet those challenges. 90 million Americans across the country as a family caregiver. That's now 2 out of every 5 adults who are caring for someone at home, whether that's an elderly relative with Alzheimer's, or let's say you're a parent of a child with special needs like autism. So 2 out of every 5 adults now are in this family caregiving situation. As a family caregiver, you're more likely to suffer depression, for instance. And so people will reach out to us on how to deal with, depression and anger and guilt and all those feelings that just pop up because now you're caring for someone, and it's really a life that you really were not counting on.
The most rewarding part of caregiving is the honor of extending their lives and allowing them to not be afraid, to be able to age gracefully in their own home, to live up to the goals that they've had. My dad is a hero. He's survived 3 wars, and I don't mean he just lived through them, I mean he battled in them. And his constant statement is, I used to be a young, daring aviator. And allowing him to maintain that idea that he's still daring, that's the greatest gift.
What's most rewarding about caregiving is knowing that my grandmother is able to stay in her own home. I had to eventually place my paternal grandmother, who transitioned at 103, into a skilled nursing facility. And I'm not saying there's problems with skilled nursing facilities, but it's wonderful when a family member can remain at home. So just spending time with my grandmother, watching HGTV, I just love, I'm the oldest grandchild, so being able to give back to her in this way is just a blessing. It's a blessing.
It satisfies almost a spiritual need in me to volunteer and to be a member of the community that serves. Also, I've gained a friend. I get to have a conversation or multiple conversations per week with people who may not be connected with as many people as they should be and may not have that outlet of communication. And so for me to be able to get to have those sometimes multiple hour-long conversations, it's so beneficial to me and to them.
It's rewarding to know that our wedding vows actually mean something, in sickness and in health, and that I'm able to stick to those vows. And I know she would do the same for me if the roles were reversed.
You have to cordon out a little bit of space and a little bit of time to refresh and take care of yourself so that you can take care of him better in a more positive way. Because you'll just burn out. Yeah. You will absolutely burn out.
When your children start buying you gift cards for massages and they say you have 7 days to make an appointment, you know that what you're doing is affecting them.
I am selfish. I still have time for myself and my own activities, and my whole life is not taking care of John. Maybe it should be, but that's not the way I look at it. And
I don't turn on the TV. It's when I come home and I sit in my chair and I just relax. I close my eyes for a few minutes and just quiet, complete quiet. Then for the next 30 minutes, I'm ready.
If we're serious about ensuring that our older adults and loved ones with disabilities receive the highest quality care during this pandemic, we must address the growing shortage of caregivers in our nation. I will continue to work to ensure that caregivers receive the recognition and support they need and deserve. And I remain focused on efforts to keep folks healthy and safe during this public health crisis.
As this virus rages on, home is usually the safest place for our seniors. We are developing a national strategy to strengthen support for caregivers long after this virus is conquered. Your faithfulness and dedication are inspiring, And our nation and our families are grateful to you.
Families are so critically important. And the fact that we've been able to be together under this pandemic has caused an awful lot of economic difficulties, an awful lot of problems. But it's also brought to light the importance that a family unit makes. Spending time with each other, taking care of each other, worrying about each other, seeing that we're safe and secure is such a wonderful gift to be able to give another family member. So to all of you family caregivers out there, thank you immensely for what you've been doing, for your family and for our country as well. And thank you for listening.